Hi Sag, welcome to my channel. My name is Kem. Today, Sag, you guys got number 24 in the Lenormand deck. This is a heart, and obviously, and I think what's interesting is you guys have been getting a strong love vibe for the past couple of weeks. I think even your March read had a really, powerful message about love, about being in relationships. And I think that this card speaks a lot about the unpredictability of love, right? Like, love is a beautiful thing, but it is very unpredictable. And I feel like that's what you're thinking right now. Like, it is something that it doesn't matter how much trust you put into a person. It doesn't matter how long you've been with a person. At the end of the day, love is pretty unpredictable. And I think that should be something that should ease your mind instead of make you feel crazy, right? Like, instead of trying to control what happens and control an outcome and control a person, I feel like maybe you should take some sort of a peace of mind in knowing that it's so unpredictable. Like, it doesn't matter how well you calculate something, you never really know what's going to happen. Same thing with a person. It doesn't matter how much you know a person. You never really know what's going to happen. And I think, an earth sign would have a really hard time understanding that, because earth signs, I feel love the stability, right? That if love could offer stability, that's what they'd want, right? They wouldn't want an unpredictable person or it's not even about spontaneity. It's just about the fact that someone can come and go as easily, someone can leave as easily as they came. That's something that I feel would freak everybody out. But Sag, I think what you need to understand is maybe you're the only sign that could really understand this the way I'm trying to explain it, but it's sometimes love is always going to be unpredictable, right? At the end of the day. And it doesn't matter how much you try to invest in a person, you never really know what that person's gonna be up to. So I feel that gives you more of a leeway of being yourself, right? Isn't it nice to know that I don't know how to explain it. I feel it should make you feel kind of safe, right? Knowing that at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do, love is unpredictable, right? It's you can plan as much as you want, but love is unpredictable at the end of the day, right? People are unpredictable. You never know what someone's going to do. You never know how someone's going to feel, right? You can't control that either. All you can control is yourself and what you're doing. So I kind of like this message because it's yeah, love is unpredictable, but instead of that working against you and making you feel so, oh shit, I don't know what to do. It's I think it would be actually a really positive thing, right? Because it's at the end of the day, I can do whatever I want, right? This person wants to be with me, they're going to be with me. And if they don't, they're going to leave. And that it is what it is, right? All I can be is myself. And I kind of like that. So I feel that's how you should see it. If you're right now freaking out about the control of love, don't. Because at the end of the day, there's just nothing you can really control about love, right? So yeah, that's what I'm getting, Sag. Let's pull some cards. So Sag, I feel this reading is about a masculine energy who really has expected, again, this could just be you're feminine, but the masculine energy within you, right, expects a certain outcome all the time. And that's what I'm getting. There's a rigidity with the Emperor here, versus I feel the childlike energy is telling you that it could be spontaneous, right? It could be let love flow, let love come in whatever form it wants to come, let love leave when it wants to leave. And then there's this other side that's no, it has to be this way. I want it to be very structured and rigid, and I want it to be this way, and controlling, right? And the problem with the Sag is again, the whole point of this first card was to talk about how unpredictable love can be, right? And how it's basically there's no point in controlling it. There's no point in trying to count on a person, because at the end of the day, you can only really control yourself. Sorry. So what I'm getting with this is although you really want relationships to be and end up a certain way, I don't think it works out the way that you necessarily want it to, because again, when it comes to love is unpredictable. So I think that there's two people in your life that there's one, I think to you, they might have seemed equal in the past. We have a Queen of Fire and we have a Queen of Cup. a Queen of Cups can be a Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, or the Queen of Fire can be an Aries, Leo, Sag. So I feel like, and then this masculine energy is coming up as a true pair to both. So I feel like this is you. Like you can fit yourself into either situation, but it's really dependent on what you want, right? And it's like there's something that you want, right? Again, and what you keep getting, you have this Ace of Swords in reverse twice. So I feel like that's you not necessarily seeing the truth. And the truth is, I feel like it doesn't matter how much you push for perfection. Perfection doesn't exist when it comes to love, right? Or the perfection of love is that it is imperfect, right? Like that is what love is. It is an imperfect thing that just ends up working out. And I feel like that is where you've gone wrong, Sag, in the feeling that if it doesn't work out the way you want it to work out, you leave. Or if it isn't exactly what you thought it would be, you run away. And I feel like that's the energy here that you're fighting against, because I feel like you have to understand that things are never going to be exactly how you want them to be, right? But that doesn't make them less true, right? Let's just say somebody in a relationship does something that disappoints you, or something that you didn't expect, and it leads you to think like differently of that person. Is that person not all they're cracked up to be, or is that just you and changing your perception? This is reminding me of The Weeknd, like, right? Like he always says, like, once someone's mystery fades, people don't really want him anymore, right? Like everyone loves The Weeknd because he's like this, object basically, and people have all these ideas of what he is in their mind. But then when they really get to know him, they realize that like maybe he's just actually like a normal person, right? And there isn't anything that crazy about him. He's just a normal guy, right? And I feel like he's always like, when my mystery fades, then people will leave. And that's kind of what I feel like is going on here, Sag. It's like you have these expectations of people, and the expectation might not necessarily be exactly how the person is, right? Let's just say like a person, they actually, like, you think they're so cool, but then you get to know them and you realize that like such a nerd, right? Like they study a lot, and they're like, they read a lot of books, and it's like nothing that you expected from them. But instead of you liking that more, it feels like an opposite thing happens to you, where you get like unimpressed with them, and then you kind of run away. And I feel like that's some sort of like internal mechanism, to be honest, right? Because again, I feel like when anything is against the narrative that you want for your life, or against like what you have kind of pictured in your head, then I feel like you start to freak out. And that's what I'm getting with this. So when it comes to these two people, right, I feel like in the past you might have thought that they were equal, but now I'm getting that you think one might actually be better than the other, right? That's what I'm getting. Like there actually is a difference between these two. Like yes, you are coming up as a true pair to both, but I feel like there's one that you might have a better fit with, right? And I think it's the Queen of Cups, right? I feel like you are coming up as a true pair to the Queen of Wands, but this is the thing. I think that there's a cup energy in between the King and the Queen of Wands. That's what I'm getting with this read. It's like you can choose either person, but I feel like both people have disappointed you in some sort of way, where they haven't they both have like not been what you have expected. But of course, no one in life will be, right? Like no one in this life is going to be exactly what you expect. So now that you've been taken like by surprise by both people, and things haven't gone the way that you thought they would with both people, you're like, okay, so like I might have broken up with this person because, they surprised me with this. So now I'm supposed to break up with the other person because they surprised me with this, right? It's like eventually, I guess everyone will end up surprising me. So what was the whole reason for me breaking up with the, first person in the first place? It's like the more you get to learn about relationships, the more complex they get, and the more you see that you may have been too like strict in your point of views and too like rigid. That's what I'm getting. Like you've been too much like this, instead of letting love flow in and out of your life. Like if people want to leave, you let them leave. If people want to come in, then you let them come in. It's like, again, that's what I feel like this reading is about. They're trying to like let you see that there is no way for love to really be controlled. And if you can understand that and let it be like a free thing and not something that you try to control all the time, then I feel like you'll pick the right partner. Because if there is a choice between two people, I feel like with one person you weren't necessarily that rigid with, and you were more understanding. With this person, I feel like it could have been the Queen of Wands. Like I feel like this is the person that you might have like been a little bit more lenient with. And then with the Queen of Cups, I feel like that's the person that I feel like you might have had some sort of falling out with, right? Because we have the Four of Wands in reverse with the King of Cups. So there's something that happened with the Queen of Cups where I feel like you weren't as like, you were very strict with them, and then I feel like you weren't really as strict with the Queen of Wands. So then now it's like, okay, now what do you know, if I didn't let the Queen of Cups pass with this, then why am I letting the Queen of Wands pass? You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, so now my standards are changing in love. And I feel like you're beginning to understand that, like, when it comes to love, it's really hard to set rules and like standards and all this shit. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying this rigidity doesn't work in love. And now I feel like you're beginning to realize, like, you know, if I can forgive the Queen of Wands for doing whatever they did, then why can't I forgive the Queen of Cups? Like, why was it so hard for me to forgive that Queen of Cups? Why did the Queen of Cups like really take me back? Why did they really surprise me? And I feel like you're beginning to understand that maybe, like, after all that was said and done, you were really harsh on the Queen of Cups, but I feel like that's who you have more love for, because I see her coming up again at the end of the read. So it's like, I feel like you were very lenient with this Queen of Wands for whatever they did. I feel like you forgave the Queen of Wands and you were like, okay, like, it's fine, you can do that. But like with the Queen of Cups, you were like really mean about it and like really like persecuted that person for what they did wrong. And now at the end of the day, you're like, well, I have more love for the Queen of Cups, and I'm like I'm coasting by with this regular person when I have more love for this other person. But I rejected that other person because of what they did. But like, meanwhile, I'm letting this Queen of Wands get away with it, right? Like, it makes no sense, right? It's like, I have more love for the Queen of Cups. I feel like I fit well, like, better with the Queen of Cups. But at the end of the day, like, I was young and she took me like by surprise, or they took me by surprise. So that's why I had to like they ruined the sense of control that I had, the Queen of Cups. But did what the Queen of Cups do actually merit the consequence that I gave them, which was probably like breaking up with them, ending the relationship with them? I don't know. And that's what I feel like you're looking at. I feel like you're looking at the idea of like, maybe I wasn't really balanced when I was like judging this person. Maybe I wasn't really like, the way that I judged one person was so different than the way that I judged the other. Like, why was that? And now I feel like you're beginning to understand that when it comes to love, again, people are going to make mistakes, and people are going to like do things that sometimes are not under our control. Like, that's the whole point of this read. Like, love is unpredictable. And now I feel like you're understanding that. And I feel like now you're like kind of spying on this Queen of Cups. I feel like you're kind of like looking into what this Queen of Cups is doing. I feel like you're like, how am I going to forgive somebody for doing something similar, if not similar, but like the same thing or worse, right? But then I couldn't forgive this Queen of Cups. And now you're just like, what the hell? Like, why would I do that? That's what I'm getting. Like, I feel like two people have kind of like taken you by surprise, these like two main people that you've had relationships with. And I feel like you're kind of like more lenient with one than the other, but you have more love for the one that you were like stricter with. So now you're just like confused at what the hell you're doing. And what I'm getting with this is like, you love to put in work to have some sort of control, but this sense of control that you've like come to understand is actually what's ruining your relationships, right? Like, the fact that like someone can take you by surprise, and you know, like you threw out an entire relationship with someone because they did something unpredictable, or they did something that you weren't expecting. I feel like that's like the whole basis of this read. Like, you don't like to be with anyone that does things unexpectedly. So maybe the Queen of Wands is someone who's like pretty boring, I'll say, someone that does everything to the book, someone who does everything like the exact way that you want them to do it, but there's no passion with this person. Whereas like with the Queen of Cups, I feel like you had a lot of passion and you had a lot of love for this person, but they kind of took your walls down and your boundaries down, and they weren't necessarily like, you couldn't control this person. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it was easier for you to let that person go because you couldn't control them. But at the end of the day, I feel like who you have more love for is the Queen of Cups. So I feel like, yeah, with the Devil in reverse and the Four of Cups and the Four of Coins, we have a 4 and a 4. I feel like your need to hold on to the way that things are, and your need to hold on to control, is why you lost the Queen of Cups in the first place, or you like told the Queen of Cups to get lost. But at the end of the day, I feel like you're still thinking about the Queen of Cups. And I feel like, again, whether the Queen of Wands did something worse than the Queen of Cups, or whether the Queen of Wands is just, you know, a person that does everything the exact way that you want it to be, I feel like that's the person that you're with right now, and you're just like, why am I with this person? And I feel like you might communicate to the Queen of Wands like, you know what, I want to end this relationship, because I feel like you're beginning to realize that you have a lot of love for this Queen of Cups. And even though the Queen of Cups might like tear down your boundaries or not be someone that you can control, I feel like that's the person that you have real love for, right? So I feel like the energy and like the lesson of this read is to be like more like, to understand that you can't control love. Like in love, there is no control, right? And I feel like that's what this whole lesson taught you. If this is a karmic, then that's what this person was meant to teach you. It's like, we have, when we start out in love, we think things are going to be a certain way and they end up not really being that way. And you being more lenient or you being less controlling is not a sign of like weakness. I think it's just a sign of like growing up, right? And understanding that when it comes to love, there is no control, right? When it comes to love, like, you can't force anybody to do something. Like, you have to just, let people do what they're going to do. And if you trust them, you trust them. If you don't, you don't. And what I'm getting with this is like, I think the Queen of Cups offers a new like perspective into life, like a new like way of looking at things. And I feel like it might not necessarily make you feel comfortable. That's what I'm getting with the Ten of Swords in reverse and the Five of Coins in reverse and the Death. It's like it's going to put to death all your boundaries and like control, like ways of controlling people. And it's a new opportunity. It's like an opportunity to do things differently. And the way to do things differently is to, again, just let things be, to not control things. And if you can allow that to happen, I feel like you can win back this Queen of Cups. But I feel like that this lesson was only learned through this karmic, right? So the karmic was either like perfect and did everything exactly the way you wanted it to and didn't like test your boundaries in any type of way and you were like bored out of your mind, or it was the opposite and this person was like worse than the Queen of Cups and you forgave them and forgave them and forgave them, and then you're just like, you know what, why was I so strict on the Queen of Cups when the Queen of Wands is literally doing the same exact thing, you know what I mean, if not worse. So it's like, okay, so then it's me, right? So that's what I'm getting with this read. It's like, it's either one way or the other, but the karmic is the one that's teaching you the lesson. Either by like doing things perfectly and you're bored out of your mind, or doing things so like atrociously that you're just like, holy shit, like I had a better person and I was like too mean to them. Let's pull some advice. So yeah, you have Watch and Wait, Seahorse Spirit, number 53. I feel like Watch and Wait is, I mean, this can mean a lot of different things, but in this read, I feel like it's trying to tell you that this lesson that you're learning could only have been learned, I think like the karmic had to happen, right? Like the karmic had to happen. It's like kind of like that idea of like, you don't know what you have till it's gone, right? Or you don't know what you have until, you're dating someone else and you're just like, holy shit, like what am I doing? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, or you meet a new person and they're not on any level close to what you had. And it's kind of like, why did I throw something away that I had a lot of love for, or that I had a lot of respect for? And I feel like with Kali coming, the mother of the universe, I release all that doesn't serve me. It's time to be the truth of who I am. I feel like what doesn't serve you is the element of control. What doesn't serve you is like the way that you hold the sword. So the way that you cut somebody out when they, did something that you didn't like, or they tested your boundaries in some sort of way, or they weren't someone that you could control necessarily, like you cut them out and like you used your sword in a way that was so harsh, right? And not necessarily like loving, right? And it's like you've been given a new opportunity to see things the real way, but the way that they made you see it is by using a person, again, either who tested your boundaries to the point where like they did things that I feel like were 10 times worse than the Queen of Cups, or again, they were so, boring in the sense of the fact that like they did everything that you asked them to do, but there was like no love or passion with this person, right? So it's like you got exactly what you wanted. Now, are you happy? Or you got something 10 times worse. Now, like, can you appreciate what you had? So that's what I feel like is going on here. It's all to like, for you to cut something out. And what you need to cut out is the rigidity that you have, that love has to be a certain way and that it has to look this way and it has to be perfect. And that, if things are not the way that I want them to be, then I'm going to break up with this person. Like, that's not the way love works. If you love somebody, you let them be themselves, right? And you trust them and you trust that, what you have is enough to, outstand time, right? And like changes, because we're all changing and we're all always developing. So it's like, I trust that like we can work things out no matter what happens, or you don't. And with Watch and Wait, I feel like this is something that like has taken a long time to like happen. Like, again, I feel like you had to get into a relationship with a whole other person to appreciate somebody that you had in the past. So yeah, that's what I'm getting, Sag. It's like a tough lesson, but I feel like it's something about the way that you want to control things and the perfection that you have in your mind of what things should be. And it's like, it's not really about that now. And I think that's what you're seeing. So yeah, I feel like you can approach the Queen of Cups and like apologize, or you can, you know, continue on with the Queen of Wands. But I feel like the Queen of Wands was meant to teach you the lesson of the Queen of Cups. So it's really up to you what you decide to do. Let's see what you're going to do with the Queen of Cups. Yeah. I feel like you're going to go, you're going to make some sort of offer to them. Yeah. We have the 5 of Cups in reverse and the 6 of Cups. I don't really feel like I need to pull more. I feel like either you're going to notice the value of what they taught you and you're going to move on in your life, or you're going to go back to this person. But this is like a true soulmate. Like this person was meant to teach you a lesson, or this is the person that I feel like you learned the lesson with the karmic, and you're going to return to the Queen of Cups because that's the person that you have true love for, and that you really admire. And I feel like at that time you didn't really understand love the right way, and you expected, again, you put this person through a lot with your expectations and your inability to like move, right? And your need for everything to be controlled. And now I feel like you're understanding like that's not the way that love works. And I think, again, I don't think you're sad anymore. I don't think they're sad anymore. There's something about this 5 of Cups. Like, I think a lot of time has passed by. That's why I keep getting with watch and wait. Like, a lot of time has passed by for you to have, like, learned this lesson. So, yeah, I think if you're able to cut out this perception of how love is supposed to be and how a partner is supposed to be, like, if you can cut all that out, then I feel like with watch and wait, there is a positive outcome for you in this Queen of Cups. So yeah, that's what I'm getting, guys. I love you guys. I hope this helps, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.